Hi, I'm Christine Walker, and I'm the leader of the Kano Walker Wirrichan Peglin project. And I'm here today to introduce you to Doug Petherick, who is one of the teachers that Kano knew and adored from CASM, which is the Centre of Aboriginal Studies and Music. I wanted to say that we're actually, the project is all about Wirrichan Peglin, and in Kano's language, it's Wirrichan is black fella, white fella coming together, and that's exactly what Kano was.
Yeah, absolutely. Reminds me of Robbie Walker.
Yes.
He put together a book of poems.
Yeah.
The front cover of the original publication was of Kano and I locking hands.
Oh wow!
It was just two arms.
Oh wow! Yeah, I've got a copy of that. I've got it somewhere.
Well, those arms are Kano and me.
Oh wow! Well, that's Wirrichan in the true spirit, then, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I remember Kano. I'm going to lose it now. He came up to me one day, and I can't remember what the context was, but it was I reckon on a field trip or something like that. And he said, "You're a black fella, white fella."
There you go. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. And I remember that mural from Chasm that was on the Festival Theatre of Karno.
Yeah.
Which was up for 10 years.
Yep. I found a picture of that the other day.
Oh, wow. I'd like a copy of that, please.
I'll have to find out where. Yeah, it was online somewhere.
Oh, wow.
I reckon it might have been historical stuff from the Adelaide Festival. Historical, going back over old programs and things like that.
Oh, wow.
I'll see if I can find it again.
Yeah, it'd be great. Absolutely great. So, yeah, it sort of makes you reminisce a lot, doesn't it? I mean,
it does. And once you start, they just keep tumbling out.
Well, I used to keep apologising to people all the time for crying, and they kept telling me off about it. You don't have to do that, and it's just, I can't help it. It's just a huge loss for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really look forward to seeing all that stuff you can find and put together for us. That would be absolutely amazing.
I'll start now.
Thank you very much. And I'll just keep checking my email box.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you to state your name and where you first met Kano and what experiences you got from meeting Kano.
My name is Doug Petherick, and I first met Kano in, I reckon, 1980, when I applied for a job.
I said, that's a while.
It's a while. I applied for a job at the Centre for Aboriginal Studies and Music at Adelaide University, and Kano was, at that stage, a student there. And he was on my appointments committee.
Okay.
Interviewed me for the job.
Kano did?
He was one of the people on the committee.
Oh, wow.
Chester Schultz was, Ben Yengi, Aunty Leela, and a few people from the Elder Conservatorium as well. But yeah, Kano was one of them.
Oh, I never knew.
So my first day there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So what experiences did you gain knowing Kano, or was there anything special you want to talk about with him?
Kano was, he was such a loving spirit. Right from day one, from the when I rocked up for the interview, he was one of a couple of people who made me feel pretty welcome right from the beginning. Another person who was involved right from the start was Bunnah Lawrie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
coloured stone were just
Yep.
hitting their straps. Wrong side of the road was out and about. So us mob and No Fixed Address were pretty well known by that stage. Coloured stone were just starting to come through.
Yeah.
In fact, part of the interview process was I had to do an audition, and
Right.
the way the audition was set up was I played with Bunnah and Coloured Stone.
Oh, okay.
Had a jam session with them, and Kano sat in on the jam session.
Oh, I don't doubt that for 1 minute.
because of his role in the appointments committee. But I remember him from the very beginning. He was such a likable person and so welcoming, and there was a warmth that he's kind of embraced you with straight away, and that never went away.
Yeah.
Never went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that you were close to Karno?
There was a kind of intuitiveness about things. You didn't have to see each other for a long time. After Kano had moved on, and then of course you set up the business, and the only time I'd see Kano then really was for gigs, when you did security for gigs for us.
Yeah.
So it might only be once or twice a year.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like you just picked up and carried on like you'd seen each other yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anytime you did see each other, he was fantastic at knowing, as kind of seeing if something was going on. He sensed it.
Yeah.
If there was something going on in your life, he knew. He just knew.
There comes that magic again.
Mm-hmm.
We had an interview yesterday with someone that's known him for a long time, a lot longer than I knew him, and
Yeah.
the only one word that kept popping up was the magic of him knowing.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. He'd take one look at you, and he knew something was up, that something wasn't right, and he just was a very intuitive person. He just knew things.
Yeah.
He just seemed to know things, and you didn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
You just give you a big hug.
Yep, that's Karno. Yeah, so I was hoping to hear back from Anthony Packboy and Andy Kiwat too, but I haven't heard back from them yet because I know they've had a lot to do with Karno too.
Yeah.
Knowing the Chasm interview that Karno's done, and he's told me about it many a times about how he was involved in the first electric band that came out of Chasm.
Yep.
And they called it the Muthrooks.
Yeah. Now I don't remember that.
And then Karno's language, that is means crabs, as in sexually transmitted crabs,
Yeah.
And Leela at the time was quite disgusted that they actually named their band that. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a little dealing with Bunnah Lawrie only a couple of weeks ago. We were down at Victor Harbour and he was doing ceremony for us, and it was brilliant. It was a whale ceremony, and I was in my glory, just being a part of it and being welcomed the way I was,
Lovely.
So did you know how much Kano was involved in adverse in his culture?
Yes. Yeah. And Anthony in particular took time to, every time we'd be doing a gig, Anthony would spend time with Kano talking about things and sort of catching up on where things were at, especially when things were not going so smoothly. which they didn't always, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't, did they? And what a shame that the government actually took the funding away, because I mean, I thought CASM was absolutely brilliant. And I've got children and grandchildren that could have benefited by it as well. So,
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, things happen for reasons, I guess. And so, is there any experiences that you want to talk about that you actually want to share with everybody that's watching?
I've got Parkinson's. Kano was one of the first people to know, and I didn't tell him. It was at a gig one night, and I think I've been doing some stuff. I reckon it was Danny Hughes, Dapper, who was playing harmonica. And we did a harmonica duet thing for the end of year gig.
Right.
And I don't know what happened, but Kano must have sensed a bit of a shudder or something like that. And nobody else, I don't think anybody else knew at that stage. I hadn't said anything. But Kano knew.
Yeah.
He just came straight up after Danny and I had done our thing, and he said, "I know." Put his arm around me.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, he was like that.
He was.
I was thinking about this earlier, and remember the sobriety group,
Yeah.
the mobile.
Yeah.
Assistance team.
Yeah.
MAP Patrol, wasn't it? Mobile Assistance Patrol.
Yeah, we used to work with them with the security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember one night being in town, just to go into the pictures or a gig or something like. Yeah, it might have been down at Nexus, because it was down that end of town. We were coming back up Hindley Street, and the MAP wagon was parked near the overway. It wasn't far from the overway, and I knew Kano was there because I heard the harmonica, and it was wafting out from one of the side streets. And sure enough, he appeared around the corner, but he was blowing on the harmonica, just had it in his pocket as always.
And he would have been playing a hymn.
Yeah, it probably was. It was probably something like the Old Rugged Cross.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Old Rugged Cross. Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably something like that.
Yeah.
But I always remember this sound wafting out, and you just knew it was Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Tino, I don't know if you know Tino Lindsay, but him and Tino Lindsay used to play their mouth organs at funerals, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And they just fed off each other. It was just beautiful to hear.
Lovely. Yeah.
So, why do you think, in your professional opinion, Kano was so good at everything he did?
He applied himself.
Well, he self-taught himself most stuff.
Yeah, he was. I understand that. I went through the processes with a teacher for violin initially and piano, but once I picked up the guitar and then subsequently the bass, that was all self-taught. So I understand where he was coming from in that sense.
Yeah.
But I understand what dedication it takes too. It doesn't just happen.
No, it doesn't happen. But he did apply the dedication too.
He did.
He did in everything. He even taught himself to read and write.
He put the time in everything he did.
He did.
And yeah, really, really dedicated himself and stuck to his guns. That's the other thing.
That's
He
it.
didn't let go.
He didn't let go, did he?
No, he didn't.
And we absolutely used to love waiting for those times like June and December, you know, when we used to work with Chasm and do the security form. We look forward to those days.
Yeah, and
absolutely loved it.
It was special having a team like you guys, who'd been part of the process too, because you know Kano was there in the late 70s, early 80s, as a student. So it was a connection that lasted for a long time.
Yeah. Well, still has, you know, in a little way, because I mean, I know Kano's not here, and I'm missing absolutely so much with every breath of my body that I take.
Yeah.
But the connections of you guys, you know, and the memories that he left us still keep us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Actually, I remember when I was offered the job, Kano was one of the first people to. In fact, he was one of the people who told me, because he representing the appointments committee. Him and Chester and Ian Knowles, I think, was the other one. And there was from the first moment I started, pretty much about the first or second weekend in, there was a trip to Barmera, and Kano was playing, and they were short a guitarist.
Yeah.
I got dumped in the deep end.
Yeah.
Songs I'd never played before.
Well, the country and western.
Bunch of guys I'd never even rehearsed with, and away we went. And kind of never looked back from there.
Beautiful, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty special and pretty daunting way to start. But that was the nature of the place.
That's also Kano, throw you in the deep end.
Oh yeah, totally. It was, you know, just watch my fingers.
Yes.
And that was the way it went, and that was the way it was.
That's just the way he was. I mean, I've seen him play in bands for a long time, and I was just in awe of his presence on the stage, and just the way he moved backwards and forwards and moved with that guitar and those rips that he used to do. I just sat there, and I was just so proud to be a part of his life.
Yeah.
And but I was just so proud. Just like he used to play with one of his cousins, and the cousin always referred things back to me and all that over the microphone, and it's like, holy hell! But just watching Kano up there, I was just sitting there so proud. I was just totally in awe.
Yeah.
And mesmerised as well, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
I used to love watching him perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a very special man. And I miss him a lot.
Oh, me too.
I'll bet you do.
Yeah. Well, I think I broke down and cried in yesterday's interview, but which I try very hard not to do. But sometimes you just got to let it go, and the more you fight it, the more it happens. So, yeah. But you know, we do miss those days, and you know, and is Chasm ever coming back, or what are they doing with it?
They're still there. It's the courses have been reduced basically to the what do they call it? Well, the introductory year, basically. But they're still going, and Grayson's still there. Yeah. Grayson Rodimer.
Yeah.
And he's in charge now. Officially, he's a coordinator, I think.
Is Jenny still there?
Hmm?
Jenny still there?
No. I think she's in Canberra.
Oh. Okay. Oh, well.
But
it's in good hands with Grayson.
Sorry?
It's in good hands with Grayson.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, I saw him, I saw Anthony, I saw Jardine last week. The Barsmith Library has set up a little display.
Yeah, Chester sent me the invitation
exhibition.
to that. Yeah.
Sorry?
Chester sent me the invitation to that.
Yeah, yeah. And Chester was at the opening.
Yeah, I haven't gone.
Last Thursday. And that's on until the middle of the year. So that's basically celebrating CASM having reached 50 years of its association with the university.
Wow.
So it's not as big a program as it was. It's much reduced. But there's still some pretty fine students coming through.
Wow, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, I'll wrap it up then, and I'll say thank you so much for your taking the time today to do this.
That's a pleasure.
And it's a pleasure talking to you too. And anytime you want to ring up for a yarn, I sent you my mobile number on the...
I've got it.
Yeah. So store that in your phone, and to the other guys, if they're interested in doing an interview, it'd be great if they could.
Yeah, I'll probably see Anthony in the next few weeks. And Jardine, I have to ring up about something else, so I'll put the word on him.
Yeah, both of those two would be fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome.